place was in Iqaluit in the Canadian Arctic in the far north. He lived there for 6 weeks in the dead of winter. It was minus 50 degrees every day. Celsius, which, you know, in American audiences they always go, oh, it can't be that bad. But honestly, Celsius or Fahrenheit, minus 50 is pretty much the same thing. It was very harsh, but also extremely beautiful up there in the middle of winter. And Iqaluit is a primarily Inuit native community, and so he learned all sorts of wonderful old stories that are still passed down from the elders of the community to the youth. And this one touched me. It is a creation tale. It talks about Sedna. Now Sedna was a beautiful Inuit girl. She and her father one day went on a long voyage across the empty ocean in a double kayak, each with their own paddle. Now in those days the ocean had no life. It was empty and cold with just ice on the surface and blackness beneath, and so their presence on the surface attracted the attention of a storm who lived on the far horizon. Well, curious as storms are, it came and it started to swirl around the little boat, churning the waves around this new toy. Sensing their danger, Sedna and her father turned the boat and started to make for the safety of the far harbor. Now Sedna had a strong heart, and so she put all of her strength behind every stroke of the paddle, but her father was cowardly and craven. He looked back and he thought to himself, this boat would go faster if it was lighter. And so without warning, he reached out, he grabbed his daughter, and he threw her into the icy deep. Well, that could have been the end of the tale, but it wasn't. Because Sedna had such a great heart, she swam behind the boat and grabbed a hold and wouldn't let it advance. Now her father panicked. He grabbed the paddle. He started to hit her fingers to make her release, but she wouldn't. She refused, but finally the terrible cold turned her fingers into clear icicles. And one tap on ice and it shatters. And so she fell fingerless down into the deep with these little shards of ice following. Now that could have been the end of the tale, but it wasn't. Because Sedna had such a great heart, she looked around herself in the empty blackness and she thought, if this is to be my new home, I don't want to be alone. And so with a force of will, she turned each one of those fingers into a new animal that had never existed before. They became the first whales, the first walruses, seals, all the creatures that now inhabit the deep. Sedna roamed the deep, the cold forgotten deep. No one wants to be alone. Sedna roamed the deep, the cold forgotten deep. No one wants to be alone. From her hands they fell, children of the ocean swell, with ice's twinkle given sight. She offered them a name, and seals they all became, and laughing took a coat of dappled light. Sedna roamed the deep, the cold